saying, look, when we're getting try-scoring opportunities, try-scoring parts of the pitch, let's make the most, because they're few and far between.
The Featherstone Rovers first out between the Love Barrow signs, the new marketing campaign that's just kicked off in this corner of Cumbria. No love for Barrow from this Featherstone Rovers side. And Stuart Dickens just maybe weighing up the conditions there. Sun at their backs, the wind at their backs. They could do something with that.
He's just weighing up in 40 minutes. Will he be loving Barrow? I'm sure he wants to go out there. And you look for a bit of direction off your coach at half-time. Dave Clark will be very happy with what Barrow done. But you've got to give big raps to the Featherstone forwards. Every one of them made more than 17 tackles. And that guy, big Stuart Dickens, made 20, even after being suspended, and put in the bin for 10 minutes. Unbelievable effort.
Well, they're hoping that their lovely Barrow Raiders side can do the job in the second half, but it's Featherstone Rovers who'll get us underway, trailing by just the 4 points as Briggs gets the game going. Interestingly, Carl Briggs, one of 3 ex-Doncaster players out there who were involved in last year's final. The final they won't want to remember, really. Andreas Bauer, Zeb Luisi and Carl Briggs. Luke Gale at Harlequins, of course, in action this weekend. Another one who'll remember that day with no great fondness when Salford City Reds really took Doncaster apart. Here, it's Barrow and Featherstone then playing for the chance to go to Blackpool this year in the final of the competition that's assumed a great deal more stature as far as the championship clubs go, though it is something for them to aim for.
Well, there's only 2 trophies to play for, and that's one of them. So it's always a big day. And you mentioned the Doncaster players, they want to get there and put that wrong right.
Hardman then, bringing the ball back. And here is John Steele, scorer of a great try the last time Featherstone Rovers were on Sky. And Steele paying the price for his determination there as Ellis came back.
He's not afraid of hard work, big Tommy Saxton, is he?
Once a Challenge Cup winner, of course, Tommy Saxton in his Hull FC days. 2005. Here's Stuart Dickens, very much a Featherstone Rovers man. If you take away the 1 season he spent at Salford, otherwise his entire career spent playing for Featherstone Rovers. That kick, again, too strong from Kane.
A bit too strong by Andy Kane. Wanted to keep the ball in, but again, you look at them, you look how condensed they are. I say it all the time, some coaches really go for that. On that occasion, I don't think they were trying to hold it up, but they've got a real compressed defensive line here.
Mousetrap, I love that play. One player steps away from the ball and the one behind picks it up. An underused player, Mousetrap, I think.
Braycheck now, 8-4 the scoreline. This could be a very tight game, and if it's even after the 80 minutes, we go to golden point to extra time. So these 2 sides will be hoping they don't get to that nail-biting finale.
I think there could be some points scored this second half.
Right, so it's going to be 8-all.
No, I think yeah, I think in and around the ruck, I think Featherstone have worked really hard. That guy, Easton Harris, his Featherstone teammate, to wish he'd be on the pitch.
Yeah, if it came to a golden point shootout, so you'd like to have him on your side, wouldn't you? Steele retrieving that ball, and here's Wayne Price now.
I'm just marvelling at your knowledge, Tez. I think there's going to be some points scored this
in and
half.
around the ruck, but you didn't let me finish.
Ross Devorty now. That's the 3rd tackle, and here's Briggs. Spears to Kirk, and Kirk skipping back in field, but well tackled by Katic it was. And here's Dickens.
Good leg drive from Stu Dickens, makes 3 defenders account for him.
That's the 5th tackle. He gets to his feet to play the ball, and Briggs down the short side, and it's going to be picked up by Harrison. And Harrison trying to toy with Hardman, waiting for some support to arrive, but as the support arrives, so do the Featherstone Rovers defenders, and Ian Hardman did well there.
He did the right thing. He didn't have any clear options, so he takes the tackle.
The kick charge down though, and there is the Featherstone Rovers fullback. Faced by Liam Harrison he was, but here come Barrow Raiders again. Here's Andreas Bauer. Bauer trying to hand off Saxton, gets the ball away to Chris Larkin, and Larkin. Well, Larkin had a bang in the first half, we understand, and took another one there. On the charge now with Brett McDermott. That's the fourth tackle and the first pressure really on this Featherstone Rovers line in the second half. Holt to Liam Finch. Finch, the ball on to Harrison. Harrison plays the ball on the last now. Holt stabs the kick in, and Kane has to play safe and concede the goal line dropout.
Good kick from Darren Holt. Look at the pressure. Kane gets the ball, he gathers it, but look at the players putting that pressure on him. Doing a goal line dropout here. Here's Liam Harrison. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. Tries to turn Ian Hardman inside out, but they recovered and they control that tackle. But good build-up play from this Barrow side.
Forced the goal line dropout first of the game. Featherstone Rovers not in any hurry to take it. And Briggs really didn't get a hold of that as you'd have anticipated, and Holt able to pick it up inside the Featherstone half, and here's Brett McDermott. Takes it over the 40-metre line. Here's Paul Noon now. Noon not making much progress there as Featherstone quickly onto him. Dale it was with the tackle. McDermott onto Holt. Holt looping pass for Katic, and Katic again runs into some solid Featherstone Rovers defence. Briggs and Kirk there, and Kirk has stolen that ball. I think that was pretty clear there.
Andy Kirk just couldn't resist. He's trying to pull that player backwards. Half on his leg, half on the ball. Katic lets go of it.
So the penalty conceded, another one conceded by this Featherstone Rovers side. And it puts them under pressure again. And Harrison once more on the charge and able to get the ball away. Now here's Broadbent. Broadbent across the field, runs into the tackle from Hockey. Bang in front of those Featherstone Rovers posts now. Luisi brings Paul Noon back on the inside. Noon avoids the first challenge, gets the ball away. Ellis looking for another try, heavily tackled right in the shadow of those posts. Holt, Finch, Harrison, great tackle on Harrison. It's Steele again in there. And Harrison was on the point of offloading that ball to Nixon and couldn't get it away. But how long can they survive here, Featherstone Rovers? Luisi finds Broadbent. Bauer runs into the tackle from Wayne Price. This is good defence from Featherstone Rovers at the moment, but they're still under pressure. Luisi, here's Ellis once more, and he's knocked that ball on. And a cheer, a faint cheer it is as well, to our left from the Featherstone Rovers supporters as they see out that set.
Good pressure from Barrow. They were really pressuring the line, but the good thing for Featherstone, they didn't panic. They just looked up, they played what was in front of them, they just pushed off the defenders, and that was good play by Featherstone, that.
Let's just get some half-time news from Ben Pro down on the sidelines. Ben.
Darryl Powell will be delighted with that defensive set from Featherstone, Bill, because he was talking about a mental battle in this second half. Talking to Yeston Harris as the teams came out for this second period, he's talking about the wind behind them in this second period, and the kicking game will be vital. How they could do with him out there, Yeston Harris still out with that ruptured bicep, of course. Jamie Field also on the sidelines at the moment. He's seeing Mr. Funk in the morning. He's a shoulder specialist. He'll be having a scan in Manchester in the morning. As for Dave Clark, the Barrow coach, he's happy, but speed is the key word. He wants them to hit the floor quicker and get Featherstone on the back foot.
Mr. Funk, he sounds
Dr.
like a DJ.
Funk.
He sounds like a DJ.
Hi, I'm Dr. Funk. That'd fill you with confidence, wouldn't it? That's a good kick chase from the Featherstone Rovers side, and there's probably about 100 or so Featherstone Rovers supporters at that end of the ground have made the journey. And they're trying to lift their side. Here's McDermott now.
And this is where you find out who's the tough lads in your team. There they are, the Barmy Army supporting. You've got to put your hand up here. It's always tough to bring the ball out, but if you want to win the game, You've got to come up with the efforts down this end of the park.
Katic now. Struggling to get to his feet. Plays the ball. Holt gives that a good thump, and Hardman thought he'd got it covered, and it just went away from him at the last. Had to make ground to get that one.
It was a good thump, but I don't think the contact was right. Kick pressure again coming from Featherstone meant that he caught it and kicked it within the same breath.
Oh, he's lost that ball, Steele. Protesting his innocence there. Looks to the touch judge, looks to anybody who'll listen. But they're not listening, John. But he might have a point.
Stolen. Ellis ripped that ball out. I thought Dickens stripped that ball the time before. That's one each on the ball strip in front.
He's still shaking his head. He's disgusted.
Absolutely.
Steele had it stole.
Former Hull Kingston Rovers colleagues there, but no love lost in that particular moment. Broadbent across the field. Price and Saxton driving back where he came from. That's the 40-metre line in the Barrow Raiders half. Still 8-4 the scoreline. It's been that way since the half-hour mark when Carl Briggs scored that try.
10 minutes. I wonder whether Tez's prediction could be wrong.
There's going to be some points scored.
It's a brave prediction, that, Tez. No wonder Sky employ you for your knowledge.
Here's Andy Ellis. That is debatable, really, isn't it?
Can't be for his looks, Bill, I know that.
Hull's kick is charged down, and it's Steele underneath it. It's a real battle in the no-man's lands just developing at the moment, and neither side really challenging each other's defence at the red zone, as they call it.
But they're just testing each other out, aren't they? They're just happy to hit it in and around the ruck, because if you make the tackles in and around the ruck, it's the speedy guys like Andy Ellis and Joe McLaughlin and Jack Lee who's going to cause you some problems later on in this half. And that is what I was saying, Barry.
Is somebody going to chance their arm? They need to chance their arm, though, Terry, for your prediction to come true.
Bill, there's still 29 minutes left to go. They don't have to win it until they're on 79 minutes, 59 seconds, and then it clicks to 80.
Kane puts the kick in. And again, it's a strong one, bounces way into the terracing behind the posts.
He's not happy with that, Andy Kane. He's trying to put the ball in the in-goal area.
It's easy for you to say.
Excuse me. We've already seen Barrow force another set of 6. Featherstone want to do the same.
Gary Broadbent takes the first tackle for this Barrow Raiders side. Second in the championship table, only on points difference between Halifax. So having a great season, newly promoted Barrow came up with Gateshead last season. And have got a very ambitious chairman who's spent a bit of money. And he's got big plans for this club. They've got plans to develop this ground, put new floodlights in and improve the terracing. But the priority is what happens on the field, and they'd love some silverware this season. And the Northern Rail Cup is certainly their best chance, maybe.
The arm was free from Ned Katic, though. Which team will be the one that breaks the deadlock or loses concentration?
That's a good kick from Holt. Oh, and Luisi was underneath it, but just couldn't keep a hold of it. Sebastian Luisi got up above everybody else.
He was challenging. He got over the top of Tommy Saxton. He tried to tap it back to one of his teammates. And what did they do? They have the pressure, then they give a penalty away.
Ellis penalised.
Offside. There was quite a few in front of the referee. He had plenty to choose from. He hasn't found touch with that kick.
Broadbent did superbly well there. They went for distance on the kick, and Broadbent just managed to keep it in, but did he pay a price for that?
Kyle Briggs, oh, look at that from Broadbent. He's been around forever. Gary Broadbent was around when God was a lad.
Featherstone have got to be careful here in their determination not to allow Barrow to make any progress from that. Just look how close that was. Gary Broadbent. Must have been millimetres in it. but it's got Barrow Raiders possession here. And Ellis, try scorer this evening, hat-trick against Halifax, in vain in that defeat. Holt now, lofted pass, finds Andreas Bauer, and Bauer will kick and chase himself, and across comes Hardman to gather that ball.
He had to be brave, Ian Hardman, then. He had to put his head in the way of lots of Barrow players who were coming to put pressure on him. Wayne Price does a tremendous job of getting the first tackle out of the way, second tackle even.
Well, we've got two brave fullbacks here in Hardman and Broadbent. Both getting through plenty of work for their sides, and still 8 points to 4 here.
Could Tezzy's prediction be wrong?
You're so hoping that, aren't you?
He is.
Kane drops back into his own 40 and thumps a 40-20 attempt and gets it. And he worked that out perfectly, or did he?
I think he did, Bill. I saw him, noticed him step back.
He stepped back into
to get behind that red line. He's way onside there.
James Child is the video ref. His first involvement of the evening. He's checked on that and confirmed that it was a 40-20 from Andy Kane.
That was a good kick there. Under no pressure whatsoever, he gets that kick away, Andy Kane. He puts it into the sunlight, and here they are now on the attack.
Straight from the scrum, it's with Tom Hockey. Hockey is held, says the referee. Now it's Kane. Briggs, and Briggs pops the ball out the back door to Matty Dale, and Dale dumped to the ground. Good defence by the Barrow Raiders side. A good roar from the crowd as Dale was dropped to the ground. A stray pass, they could pay the price for this. And it's been picked up by Kirk, but it was knocked on, says the referee. And a great opportunity for Featherstone Rovers goes begging there.
Featherstone Rovers playing with real wit. Andy Kane passes the ball to no man's land. John Steele goes down. That's where the knock-on is. We nearly saw James Nixon. He kicked out of that ball. It was going to be a foot race. But let's see how they can defend. Can they try and force the error? They really have improved the defence. Look at that, Tommy Hockey driving the Barrow players back yet again.
Here's Paul Noon now. Well, they might be small in number, but the Featherstone Rovers supporters very vocal. Here's Luisi. Once a Bronco and a Harlequin, Zeb Luisi, before moving to Doncaster. And here's Braychek, tackled on the 30-metre line. Ellis, sharp pass for Katic to take. That's the 5th tackle. Featherstone have done well there on this set of 6, limiting the progress. Holt, and that one held in the wind, and Price has to be careful there. Just thought that was going to come to him, and it died in the air, and Wayne Price had to scramble to get that ball.
Don't let a rugby league ball bounce. He didn't know whether to go and attempt to catch it or let it bounce, and on the second attempt and second bounce, Wayne Price does a good enough job.
Steele taking him on again over the halfway line. Runs into Katic and Ellis. Jack Lee now, and here's John Fallon. Chosen ahead of Tony Tonks this evening by Darryl Powell on the bench. Jack Lee now. That's the 5th tackle. Kane maybe waiting to launch the kick here. He had his hand up. He does, just hoist that one into the air, but that's going to be too strong. Way too strong. And Chris Larkin dealt with that one well.
Larkin had one foot in play and 1 foot out of play. Watch this. Catches that ball.
It's the turnover. Diffused it.
Well, I'm not sure whether he meant to do that, but...
And in fact, Jamie Lee just indicating that it should go back to where the kick was put in by Kane, because that constitutes that the ball went out on the full. So another opportunity wasted by this Featherstone Rovers side.
But it was good kick pressure from the Barrow player that hurried Andy Kane. He stepped off 1 foot, had to put it in the other, had to step back to the original position and put the kick in. Just disrupted him enough.
Here's Martin Ostler now. It's his birthday on Sunday. He'd love to celebrate with a cup final qualification. They've got a bit work to do before they can think about booking their tickets to Blackpool for that Northern Rail Cup final on July the 12th.
Liam Harrison, the centre, who's in the number 4 jersey for Barrow, is the real go-to player. He's big, he's strong, he looks to get that right arm fend away. If he doesn't get that, he's going to get down and he's going to play the ball as quick as he can for his teammates.
That's the 5th tackle. Liam Harrison's got Ireland connections, hasn't he?
Yes, his brother Ben Harrison actually played as well last year in the World Cup, and Liam's actually played.
Yeah,
said he was a good lad, Bill.
The Harrison brothers, another example of the rugby league production line in this part of the world. Of course, Lee Mossop making a name for himself, having come from this part of the world as well.
And there's a young player just joined the Rhinos, Brad Singleton, a real star for the future, young front rower.
No shortage of talent, but it tends to leave the area, and they'd love to have homegrown players in the side. And Tom Saxton coming up with a clanger there, didn't play the ball correctly.
He's saying that Tom Saxton, he's playing the ball.
You can't put the ball down and use it to get up, otherwise that's a penalty. It's a bit of a harsh penalty, but it's a penalty. You can't get up by putting the ball down on the floor to get up.
The Barrow player, I think it's Andy Ellis, has hold of him right up until the last second.
So he could feel a little bit hard done by that.
You need to regain your feet with the ball in position before you attempt to play it, just to clarify.
Here is Holt. Holt. Jack Lee clinging onto him, but Holt gets the ball away to Finch. Finch finds Ellis. See the penalty count, 9-6 in favour of the Barrow Raiders. Ellis plays the ball. Harrison did well to take that pass. Finch. Here's Ostler now. Ostler across the field, straightens up right in front of those posts. Is the dam going to break? Can the Featherstone Rovers defence hold out here?
Watch out for Darren Holt.
Luisi now. Kick, and again it's too strong, and the short kicking game, maybe both coaches will be thinking that could be a little bit better.
Darren Holt will be absolutely fuming. He was screaming his head off on Barrow's left. He'd arranged something, he'd set something up on that left-hand side.
I'm going to give Featherstone a real big rap here. In the first 20 minutes, we were talking about Liam Finch and Darren Holt, and we were also talking about Andy Ellis. They were causing so many problems.
Kane with the break. Hardman's in support, but Kane couldn't see him. Hardman was tanking through on his left-hand side, and Holt and Kane went to the right. That straight pass went backwards, says the referee. Briggs gets the pass out for Steele. Forward, cry the Barrow crowd on the far side of the field. Here's Kirk now. And has the threat gone away from Featherstone Rovers? The threat was there when Kane burst through. On the last now, and Briggs hoists the kick across the field, and it's well taken by Chris Larkin, but that's going to be a goal line dropout.
Tez complimented Featherstone's goal line defence. I'm going to compliment Barrow in their defence. Their attitude to scramble back as they defuse this bomb. Unfortunately, Larkin gets put over the line. He won't laugh about that.
But they're little players that win you the game. Kyle Briggs there clapping, encouraging his teammates. And I was going to say, we talked about the halfbacks for Barrow, but all we've done since the 20 minutes into the game was talk about Andy Kane. And here he goes, he gets the ball, he looks up, and that's what you want your halfbacks to do. You want them to probe, you want them to be direct round the middle of the park.
It's Houston who plays the ball. Lee now. Matty Dale. Dale on the 20-metre line. The ball back with Kane. Kane again looking to find a gap in the defence. Oh, great offload as he was going down to the ground. And now it's with Jack Lee. 3 tackles gone. And Featherstone pressing this Barrow Raiders defence. Here is Kane once more. Kane, Hardman, and they're offside.
Barrow again, they're going to have to defend another set of 6. They're going to be just as strong. Going to have to be just as strong.
Fallon takes the first tackle for Featherstone Rovers. just about 5 metres out. Kane, Hockey, using his strength. He's over the line, but he's held up, I think, is Tom Hockey, or is he? Has he got that ball down?
Just have another look at this. Tommy Hockey is very strong. He's got good leg drive, a good body angle. But do the Barrow defenders do enough? The answer is yes. I'm confident that Tommy Hockey fails to ground that ball.
Oh, you're very I told you there was going to be points.
So has Tom Hockey finally found a way through?
Paul
Luisi and Noon desperately trying to stop him putting that ball down.
I am wrong.
Oh, Baz is very confident.
I am
They're
wrong.
looking at this in, or going to look at it in normal time, I think. Jamie Leahy right on the spot, but just couldn't see whether maybe Hockey stopped moving. No, he's still going there.
That's a try, that. I'm sorry to disagree with you, Barry.
No, I agree. I'm wrong. I think this is a try.
Tom Hockey, has he got his 12th try of the season? Jamie Leahy waits for the decision from video ref James Child. He has. And persistence pays off for this Featherstone Rovers side. And it's Tom Hockey, who's been in great form for them. We've got a try in the quarter-final win against Oldham. He's got a try now, and it's taken some working for, but it's come at last for Featherstone Rovers to level the scores.
Just as the sensei predicted, there are points in this second half. They come in the shape of Tommy Hockey, who runs hard and strong, keeps going, wriggles. At first he's put on his back, and he's able to put the ball down. Paul Noon just fails to control that ball. Excellent work from Tommy Hockey. Just gets that ball down. Getting his team back in the game. A fascinating 20 or so minutes about to unfold.
That's tries in the last 3 games for Tom Hockey. Now Carl Briggs has taken on the goal-kicking duties from skipper Stuart Dickens. Briggs has landed 21 already this season, the bulk of them for Doncaster. He's landed that one, and Featherstone Rovers have snuck in front by 10 points to 8 here. A place in the final at Blackpool at stake.
Well, he's put a bit of pressure on this Barrow side. Tom Hockey, that is how you come onto a ball. Darryl Powell won't be very happy at all. Darryl Powell, sorry, will be very happy. I know, sorry, Barry, you just threw me then. You threw me then because I thought it wasn't a try.
It's his expression. He always looks like that, Powell.
Well, he knows about nervous showdowns in these sort of situations, does Darryl. As a Leeds player in a cup semi-final in 2003, he went to extra time against St Helens and they won that one.
And now, will we see Barrow now just open up? They're under a bit of pressure. Featherstone really defending strong. They're starting to come out the line, looking to dominate in defence.
They got the ball back from the short kick-off. The ball reaches Harrison now. It was Finch onto Harrison. Harrison is tackled. Instant response from this Barrow Raiders side. Here's Finch once more. Holt. Luisi now. Luisi onto Bauer, trying to run into a hole in that defence. But Price
Bauer
made the tackle. Andreas Bauer gets up and limps there. That's the 5th tackle. Can Featherstone Rovers withstand this pressure here? Holt, little chip kick over the top, and back goes Briggs to gather the ball, and what's more, make some ground for Featherstone.
How calm is Kyle Briggs? He just got back, he knew exactly what was going to do. He knew before the Barrow player kicked that ball where it was going, put himself in a great position.
I still think it's Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Bit more hair. And a dog, obviously.
I'm not doing an impression of Shaggy, no chance. Don't keep looking at me, Bill.
Here's John Steele. Up to the 40-metre line, and Featherstone Rovers ahead by 10 points to 8 as Kane goes for another 40-20. Didn't get the angle on it, and Broadbent deciding he'll bring that one back. Could have let it run, but opted to field it.
And look at the chase from Featherstone. There was 8 lads then that were chasing down the middle of that part. They knew that Gary Broadbent was going to bring the ball into centre field, and there was just a white line that's there.
There's Nixon, and we really haven't seen much of James Nixon. They've done a very good job of keeping him out of the game. Featherstone Rovers, the danger man with 17 tries this season. And when the guy scored 4 tries against you in the last game, you want to keep him out of the game, really, don't you?
To be fair, defensively, they've looked after Ben Harrison, who normally provides him with them try-scoring opportunities. But Featherstone have really stood up to the challenge.
Paul New now. Over the 40-metre line, inside the Barrow half, and Darren Holt gets the kick in. Steele and Hardman now. Hardman trying to burst through the defenders, but Harrison and Finch make the tackle. Here goes John Steele.
But again, the yardage that they're making from dummy half, the winger, Ian Hardman landed on his front, he'd returned that ball well. There's the other guy, Wayne Price, behind dummy half. He gets the ball, he pumps his leg, he tries to land on his elbows and knees, he gets the ball in, plays it quick, and they're off again, Featherstone.
Good shot. Chris Young's put a number of big tackles in. Number 15 for Barrow.
Here's Saxton. Barrow Raiders have won the last 3 at home against Featherstone. You have to go back to 2005 for the Rovers' last win here. The kick too strong from Kane. 2005. They won 38-16 on this ground. I don't think it's going to be that sort of margin here tonight.
Where's the willing workers now for Barrow? They've got the speed. We talk about James Nixon, who can run the full length of the park, but they've got to be creative. They've got to try and weave something. Here's the big guy, Liam Harrison. He goes through. Look at him, he's so strong going forward.
Harrison plays the ball on his 40. The Barrow support is just getting anxious now as the clock ticks down towards the last 10 minutes here, and their side trails now. They were 8-0 up, they're now trailing by 10 points to 8.
We haven't seen too many of those hole-punching breaks in this second half.
We didn't see one there.
Just a little bit behind Zeb Luisi. He has to reach back. But we've got to credit the defence. Tommy Ockey is right up in the face. Andy Kane right up in the face of Zeb Luisi, making it difficult for him. Barrow are behind, and it's a different kind of mentality when you're behind in a game. You need a different mindset. You're chasing the game, but you must not chase the game too much to force yourself into those difficult positions.
Ellis feeling the strain of this, got a bang there in that last exchange. Both these sides having to back up after tough games at the weekend. Featherstone played at Widnes on Saturday, and Barrow Raiders had that tough game at Halifax on Sunday. They haven't had much of a turnaround. In fact, Dave Clark gave his players a couple of days off at the start of the week. No training until last night, and then it was a light session. But they really have given it their all this evening, these two sides, and it's still there to be won by them. Into the last 10 minutes. And Featherstone Rovers will just be wanting to keep them up at this end of the field. Here's Dickens now. Another Rovers try, and they can start to think about booking their tickets to Blackpool as Briggs puts the kick in, but it might be too soon to think about that, because the kick is gathered up by Finch.
It just ricocheted off a couple of feet. Barrow were allowed to drop on it, and again they're working away from their own line. They seem to have spent most of the game doing this.
Brocklehurst across the field. Problems for Raiders, not just on the scoreboard, but I think injury-wise, Ben.
It's an injury blow for Barrow, Bill. It's Andreas Bauer. It's only a precaution. There's a problem with the left knee, ligament damage, a possible cause. As I say, it is a precaution. They're just taping him up now, but he won't be coming back.
That's bad luck on Andreas Bauer, just signed from Doncaster, the Samoan international. Well, there is the information number for the Northern Rail Cup final. If you want any details of that, 08 444 777 113, or you can go to the RFL's website. Here, it's Barrow Raiders on the charge, and Finch hacks ahead, and it's Finch against Hardman now. And will Hardman win the race? He will. And Hardman down to gather the ball.
What an excellent game of rugby league. Just less than 10 minutes, the game is still in the balance. If you were putting your money, Tez, who would you go for here? Which set of fans must book their tickets now?
The way that the game's going, Featherstone seem to be in total control. Barrow have got to come up with that magic play, and at the minute they've been pressured into making the wrong decisions every time they have the ball.
Coming up to 8 minutes to go, and the points avalanche still to appear.
Points will be scored in this second half.
And there has been points scored.
I'm going to go for Barrow, Tez. I'm going to disagree with you, just to disagree with you, but I think Barrow are clinging in there. They need to get away from their own line, and once they get down there, I think they can score some points.
Noon puts pressure on Ellis, and Ellis hurried into the kick. Finds touching goal. Kane it is with the kick.
This was a beautiful chip, and sometimes you need to do something that's a little bit against the grain, a little bit different. I played with a coach, and he said to me that chips belong with fish from Brian's, but on that occasion it nearly came up trumps.
So Barrow Raiders, can they break this stranglehold that Featherstone Rovers have had on them in the second half? Tim Spears is on, and the try scorer Tom Hockey has left the field. He's been outstanding for Featherstone Rovers this evening, but Gary Broadbent, the captain for Barrow Raiders, trying to galvanise his side now in the last 7 minutes here. Barrow looking to reach a cup final for the first time in 26 years, and Ned Katic heading for the sidelines. Held, cries referee Leahy, and they stop just in time.
Katic asking for a penalty. I think he's a right to. Referee shouted held, and he was dragged back another 5 metres.
Luisi, long ball, finds Finch. Finch trying to get it to Harrison, and Harrison just couldn't get himself free, and then there's a bit of a dithering at the play the ball, and Holt belts the ball downfield on the last tackle, and Hardman is there to retrieve it. A hint of desperation about that set from the Barrow Raiders.
They're looking to go wide, they're looking to play on the edges as much as they can, but I must admit that Andy Kirk has really done a good job on that right-hand side for Featherstone. I thought everything that Barrow threw at him, he's dealt with no problem whatsoever. And this is the honesty in the Featherstone side. You can see them all putting their hands up. Who wants to carry the ball forward? They know that some of these Barrow players are going to come out the line, try and put a shot on. Well, that's that bit of honesty. And there's the captain, Stuart Dickens, leading by example.
McLaughlin plays the ball on the halfway line. Could have claimed a penalty there. And Briggs kicks into the gap. And across comes Chris Larkin to field the ball. But again, the chase is good from Featherstone. And they drive Larkin back. Held, cries the referee again. And the atmosphere is so tight here that they'll have trouble hearing him, and that's exactly the case.
Defence wins your games, but not giving them penalties away for interference. They've done all the hard work.
They caught the Barrow player, they were driving him back, and just that extra second, just watch. Great work from Featherstone. Both sets of players have run their blood to water.
It's been a proper cup semi-final, this has. Coming up to the last 5 minutes. Can Barrow Raiders find something to unhinge the Featherstone Rovers defence? Here's Osler now, driving through the middle. Broadbent was getting there in support for the ball, but Osler couldn't get it away. Will Raiders break the Featherstone Rovers' hearts? And Harrison trying to burst through once more.
And again, they're going straight for Liam Harrison.
Luisi stumbles, gets the ball back, gets the ball away well. Here's Brocklehurst now. Brocklehurst brings Noon back inside him, and then Noon straight up the middle. Finds Katic, Ned Katic now, weaving his way through. Katic, the ball to Ellis, and Ellis will get the try, his second of the game. That maybe sent Barrow Raiders to Blackpool, but the video ref is going to have to rule on this one.
Outstanding.
Dejection for Featherstone Rovers there. But at last, Barrow Raiders find a way through.
Hot potato rugby league got them in this position.
Did he get it down?
He was short. He gets it down there. That's a try. Barrow back in this game. Hot potato rugby league. A number of offloads meant that there would be some gaps. Whenever you're in scatter defence, as Featherstone were on that occasion, something's got to give. Katic makes the break.
Saxton imploring the referee not to give it, but it's in the hands of the video ref, James Child, and Andy Ellis. Well, it's a lucky 13 for him. It's his second try of the night, and Dave Clark will be a mighty relieved man. We've got 5 minutes, he says. It's going to be 5 nail-biting minutes for the Barrow Raiders supporters.
5 minutes to defend, and there's where the penalty. You give penalties away and you put yourselves under pressure. And the second phase rugby, the amount of blue shirts that's pushing up in support, it comes off Brett McDermott first of all. You'll see Paul Noon, he comes inside, Again, he doesn't take the tackle, he looks to offload the ball. He offloads it, Katic goes through. Again, he's looking for support, and who's with him? That guy, Andy Ellis. And he goes in for that try to get Barrow back in front on the scoreboard.
He won't want to give it up now. Got a bang when he went over for the try, but if Darren Holt can convert this, then it's going to make the Raiders supporters breathe a whole lot easier. They're not home and dry yet. 14-10 the scoreline. Still time for Featherstone Rovers to snatch this one. Maybe to send us to golden point extra time.
It's the willingness, once they got down this end of the pitch, to keep that ball alive. The midday man, Paul Noon, gets the ball. He knows if he brings it back into the middle, ties up a couple of defenders, with Katic's footwork, he just puts his teammate away. Really enjoying this game, Bill.
And Briggs, well, he didn't want to do that. The clock ticking, 3 minutes to go, and they need the ball back. But in the hands of Ned Katic, in actual fact. Andy Ellis, a hat-trick in vain last weekend against Halifax. 2 tries tonight, though, that might have sent Barrow Raiders to their first cup final since they played Widnes, the Cup Kings they were, in 1983 in the Lancashire Cup final, and they beat them. They're hoping to go to another cup final in Blackpool. They're almost there. There's 2 minutes separating them from the trip to the Northern Rail Cup final, and Featherstone Rovers desperately trying to do something about it.
The clock just ticking away. Some really determined players on this Barrow side.
Holt's kick hangs in the air, and Hardman, desperate to get his hands on it, will run it back, but Brett McDermott there leading the chasers for this Barrow Raiders side. Steele trying to go on the outside. John Steele, that could be a costly error. It is. That could be the game. John Steele, well, he had to do that. He had to try and take him on, but there were just too many there for him.
Barrow really smell the scent of blood now. Really smell the scent of blood. They're in good field position. Brett McDermott, number 34 there. The old man of this Barrow, just calming his teammates down. Let's just camp down here, lads, he's saying to them.
And they'll try and do that now. The clock ticking, not ticking fast enough for the Barrow Raiders supporters who've come here in big numbers here tonight. But it's been an anxious evening for them. Featherstone Rovers so unlucky here if they are to go down, and they might now, because Finch is taking on the Rovers defence. Will Ellis look for the hat-trick? Do you know? Oh, he did. He went looking for the hat-trick. Andy Ellis, back-to-back hat-tricks that would have been, but the door slammed in his face. Holt comes back the other way. Still going, Darren Holt. Plays the ball. Finch now. Noon. Here's Brocklehurst. Broadbent in support. Okay. Broadbent's little kick is fielded by Price, but Price gets Broadbent as the ball reaches him as well, and they'll get a goal line dropout, and that surely is curtains for Featherstone Rovers.
Genius here from Gary Broadbent. He knew he had nowhere to go. Put it on the end of his toe, forcing Wayne Price to pick it up. Short drop out.
And he was tackled in the air as well, so they'll get the penalty. And in fact, I think they'll go for 2 points here, will the Barrow Raiders, just to ensure that the clock runs down. There's no threat of any nasty sting in the tail.
Dave Clark motioning from the bench, go for 2. There they go. Dean Marwood, the first man he hugs. Glorious day for Barrow. They've still got to take this conversion, but this game is over. Barrow win.
Yep. Andy Ellis saying to the referee, well, what's the point? And Jamie Lee saying, well, you've told me you're going to kick for goal, so you can kick for goal to conclude the game.
Darren Holt will see the point of kicking the goal.
Well, it adds to his tallies. I mean, you don't become a record point scorer without wanting to add more points to your tally.
Give it one of the big fellas, Darren. Don't be so greedy. He's asking, does anybody want to take it?
Holt lining up to take it. last action of this Northern Rail Cup semi-final. He's landed that just to put the icing on the cake for the Barrow Raiders. For a long time it looked as though they were going to be denied their place in the Northern Rail Cup final. Featherstone Rovers battling all the way and so nearly getting there, but Andy Ellis snatching it at the last. Dejection for this Featherstone Rovers side, but they can be so proud, their supporters can be so proud of the effort their sides put in.
The mental toughness that both sides showed tonight was outstanding. Thoroughly enjoyed this game. Not at any point did the skill level drop, not at any point did the intensity drop, and both teams were prepared to go right until the last couple of minutes, toe-to-toe, slugging away. What a brilliant game of rugby league.
And there were moments in the second half when Barrow Raiders' defence was creaking, when it looked as though Featherstone Rovers might be able to snatch it, but Barrow Raiders' defence was just as firm. And while Barrow Raiders players celebrate, it's the Featherstone players who are trooping dejectedly towards their little band of supporters who are waiting for them at the other end of the field, who are going to salute the big effort that they've put in, because it has been a big effort from this Featherstone Rovers side, but not enough. And a great effort from the Barrow Raiders side as well.
The difference between both sides, I felt at half-time, was the amount of tackles that both sides have had to do. Barrow did 220 by the final whistle, but Featherstone 355, and that's a massive gap between the two teams. The energy battle is born out of how much energy you exert. Outstanding.
Outstanding is the word for the performance of the man of the match. A hat-trick last weekend in vain, 2 tries tonight on the winning side. Andy Ellis is man of the match, and he's with Ben.
Andy, you must be delighted. You're going to Blackpool.
Yeah, we're doing it again. I've been there a couple of times. It's a good occasion. I'm glad to get there again with Barrow.
And what about the style in which you did it, an early try for yourself and then taking it away from Featherstone right at the end?
Yeah, it was an hard game. Very tough. Featherstone, credit to them. It was a good team. Luckily enough, we got at the end and we're off to Blackpool.
3 tries last week on the losing side. How sweet does this feel?
Yeah, it's a lot better to get a win out of it. So yeah, good.
And in terms of things going on at Barrow, you know, recruitments before the season started, they've certainly strengthened, and improvements off the field as well. It's a club that's really going places.
Yeah, Des Johnson's done well there, good recruitment. We're going places, so yeah, hopefully good for next season as well.
Andy, well done for bringing Gary Broadbent. Gary, another fine display at home from Barrow. Can you just put into words what this season has been like for you?
From the whole perspective of the town, it's been all the town are behind us. Things are going well. All credit to Featherstone. I thought they really dug deep today. It was an old-fashioned game of rugby. We stuck in at the end. We didn't play great at times, but it was more a game of defences. And all credit to the boys.
And the chance now for more silverware for Barrow, and also the chance maybe for a Super League licence.
Yeah, possibly. Obviously, it's there's Halifax and Widnes first. Whether we've had it tough against Halifax a few games this year, but take it one game at a time. All the fans will be there. It's going to be a great day. Hopefully, we can turn out and do our best.
Thanks very much, Gary. We've got Kyle Briggs with us as well. Kyle, you must be extremely disappointed to. You scored the try early on, and then, of course, the conversion went over. It looked at that stage as if it would be you that was going to Blackpool.
Yeah, definitely. We thought we controlled most of that game there. All the lads are disappointed. We prepared well all week for this, and pretty disappointed to come away with nothing, really. Not going to the final.
What do you think? Well, they took it away from you in the last minute, but you must be proud of the performance.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We boys giving 110%. We came here with everything we've got there. Barrow, all credit to Barrow, they're a fantastic side. Very strong, they're going to go places, and just disappointed on night.
Thanks very much, Kyle, and lucky.
Thank you, cheers.
Well, he spoke well there, Carl Briggs, very magnanimous, and after a game like that, it must be difficult to be magnanimous, but it really was a classic cup tie. Barrow Raiders winning it by 16 points to 10, but in doubt until the very last minutes of the game, and that Andy Ellis try settling it in favour of the Barrow Raiders, who will be going to the Northern Rail Cup final on July the 12th. But it was, Terry, that was a proper cup semi-final.
That was a real semi-final, that. Here's where Featherstone gave away the penalty, and it led to the field position in the first half for that guy, Andy Ellis, who was man of the match, to score the first try. He goes in under the sticks, and there was nothing in this game, but Featherstone started clawing back into the game. And this guy, Briggs, he's very unlucky to be on the losing side. Just big, powerful fend, left-arm fend, enough strength to get over and score that try. Nothing in the game. Come into the second half, and Featherstone knew they had to come up with something. And it was Andy Kane who kicked the 40-20, and you thought, hang on, Featherstone could be getting back into this. And here they go. This is where the mistake is. John Steele goes down, picks up the ball. The referee says that that's a knock-on. The scrum goes down from that, and this is just good play. Tom Hockey just runs direct and hard, hits the ball hard, turns with his upper body strength to get that ball down. Nothing that Paul Noon could do about it. And penalties, penalties, penalties leads to field position. Players must start to realise this. They do all the hard work, goes up the other end of the park. Zeb Luisi gets out. Brett McDermott can keep the ball alive. They put the ball to Brocklehurst. Brocklehurst looking for support. Paul Noon comes inside. He doesn't go down to the ground. He looks to offload the ball. Katic goes through the line. He's looking for support, and who's with him? That guy, Andy Ellis, again under the sticks.
So they got there by the skin of their teeth, and the Barrow Raiders players supporting. And the Barrow Club are holding a barbecue tomorrow down here at Mark Coward Stadium at Craven Park, where the players will be mingling with the supporters. I'd imagine that's going to be a pretty happy occasion, and I think Dave Clark, the Barrow Raiders coach, will probably be down there as well, joining in with his team, and it should be a pretty jolly do that, don't you think?
Yeah, Des Johnson, I'm sure he'll be putting his hand in his pocket tomorrow, who's the Barrow chairman. I hope Andy Ellis, I watched that interview, Bill, and I hope he knows what he's going Blackpool for. He's not going to build sandcastles. He's going there to play in a final, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Barrow play, because they've got exciting players all over the park. They've got the big guys in the middle of the park, Brett McDermott, but they've got some skill and some speed as well.
Well, we can hear now from the Barrow Raiders coach, Dave Clark. He's joined us down on the sidelines. Dave, I was talking about the fact that you've got this barbecue tomorrow here at the ground, players and the supporters mixing. That's going to be a pretty happy occasion, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, isn't it? You know, just to send the boys off for a good win today. You know, it'd be great for the boys to get there tomorrow and have a few beers and have a barbecue. And you know, thank the supporters who've been here in droves today, and it's really, really good, and they've carried us on.
It must have been a nail-biting second half for you. Never mind the finale there.
Oh, what a game! It was tough, wasn't it? It was hard around the ruck areas, and I think Featherstone really dominated around that ruck, and they played smart. They just jumped and slowed us down on go forward, and you know, we had to be patient. We had to, you know, look at our second half and, you know, increase our hard running and yardage, and hopefully we'll get something on the back end of that. And you know, went down to the wire. Andy Ellis jumping over for a try. I mean, that's rugby league. It's fantastic.
Were you confident, Dave, that you get the result? Because Featherstone were really on top until Andy Ellis scored that last try.
Yeah, mate, I was worried. I was worried after the first half, and we didn't get many points on the board, and they were defending quite well, and you know, they've had a great kicking game, didn't they? And you know, put a lot of pressure on us defensively, and you know, I thought, well, was it enough to get to carry us through the second half? And you know, second half we just slugged away and plugged away, didn't we? And you know, eventually we had some opportunities in their good ball area, and I think they starved us really well today of good ball. And you know, you take your chances, and one chance happened, and there you go.
Dave, you're a very ambitious club. I mean, the signings you've made obviously indicates that, and you're not going to the final just to make up the numbers. The aim at this club this season is to win stuff, isn't it? Oh,
definitely right. And I think, you know, beginning of the year, we really didn't know what to expect this year. And, you know, Des has brought some good players in, and, you know, it's a pleasure to coach him and be a part of the team. The coaching staff work really hard, Steve and Dean, and you know, we do the best we can, and it's good to see the players, you know, performing the way they are, and, you know, giving everybody an opportunity to get to Blackpool. And you know, I can't wait. I think the supporters here will go in droves, and it's just fantastic for Barrow Rugby League. And you know, 26 years since we've been in a cup final, and you know, it's a fantastic reward for everybody. You know, the volunteers, the backroom staff, the whole lot.
And the classic finalist question, the other semi-final, Halifax Widnes, who do you fancy?
Oh, it'll just be great to watch it, won't it? You know, no pressure on us now. We're in there, so. Yeah, it'll be a tough game, won't it? You know, Widnes have gone close to them, you know, a few times this year, so it's going to be a good battle down there at Halifax, and, you know, good luck to them both, and we'll see one of them in the final.
Thanks very much, Dave, and look forward to seeing you in Blackpool for that final on July the 12th. The Barrow Raiders are through there, but we'll wait to see whether Halifax or Widnes get there, and
we'll have highlights of that game, that other semi-final on Boots and All next Wednesday night. That is going to be a big game as well, isn't it? Halifax Widnes.
That's going to be another big tough game. You got Widnes going there. They had a real good result last week against Featherstone. They're going against the Halifax side that they've been unlucky in a couple of games that they've played up there. They've got the likes of Penkovic directing round the middle of the park. They've got big Tanga who comes off the bench. He really does take them forward. Frank Watine, and I just think that the Widnes really need to step up to the mark, because Bob Bezic, another player who's going to be wanting to play against his former club, and I just can't wait. I think it's going to be so exciting. It's going to be another thriller like tonight, Bill.
And the indications are that, I mean, it's taken a bit of time for Paul Cullen to make his mark, but just in the last couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, maybe Johnny Gratian joining the club, are things starting to turn his way?
Sadly for Widnes, Johnny Gratian's not playing. He's cup-tied for this game, but you look at the team on paper and they look a really skillful outfit, but they've got to produce it on the pitch, and it's as simple as that. Warrington went through it early on in the year in Super League, where on paper everyone's saying, why is this team losing? When you've got likes of James Wedge, the Anthony Thackeray, you've got the big guys up front, Pickersgill's come in, you've got Craig Hall come in, Kevin Penny come in on loan. There's talent, there's speed, and there's a bit of determination from the Widnes club as well going into this game against Halifax.
Yeah, so you've got a few hours spare on Sunday afternoon. The Shay's a place to be. Halifax against Widnes in the other semi-final of the Northern Rail Cup. The winners to meet the Barrow Raiders. Meanwhile, we've got a busy weekend of Super League to come with...